Welcome to post-match press conference. Here with me is French head coach Didier Deschamps. I'll leave the floor to French media team.
Bonsoir Didier, Baptiste Després, Le Figaro. C'est impossible de...
The strongest players are not at their top level. What happened to Kylian Mbappé and Antoine Griezmann? Well, I'm not going to pass on the responsibility to one or another. I am the one in charge. I'm the one responsible. First of all, due to the end of their season. On top of that, Kylian suffered a trauma. And even though we did manage to reach the semi-finals, facing a Spanish side with such quality, such strong quality, even though Antoine didn't start playing, but Kylian did, and he didn't perform as well as he usually does. I'm not looking for any excuses. We started the preparation. We didn't have Aurélien. Adrien got injured. Upamecano arrived in a difficult physical condition. So we tried to do our best with what we had. And we tried to be as efficient as possible. It was great because we were able to open the score. And the Spanish side does master the game better. We didn't perform so well. We didn't manage to play so vertically as I would have wished. We did push all the way to the end. And I will not say that my players did not give it all. But they did not all play at 100% of their capacities for this Euros for several reasons. You went very far in this Euros up to the semi-finals, but after each match you had to hear about the quality of your game, the fact that France found it hard to score. Do you think this is logical, and were these signs of what could happen tonight? Well, I'm not here to commentate criticisms or debate. You may talk about anything you wish, no problem. I'm not going to talk about this. This is factual. I never denied that we didn't have the best offensive efficiency. From there on, we also had to adapt. Be efficient and go on. We made it to the semi-finals, and then everybody will have their own analysis. We didn't have 100% of our potential to do what we wanted to do, and this for different reasons. As my colleague pointed out, you faced several criticisms, but you also reached the goals of your president to reach the semi-finals. Your contract lasts for another 2 years. Can you see yourself going up until the World Cup? Well, you know, I just lost the semi-final. Do you really think, just ask my president. I respect you. Please try and respect people who also have responsibility. I'm saying this in a very calm manner. What happened, happened. I am here to answer your questions. I am not going to answer to this one, but you know the situation very well, and you know very well what my president thinks. Maybe you shouldn't even have asked me this question. Good evening, Didier. A question on the decision that Kylian Mbappé decided not to play with his face mask. How was this decision taken, and how can you explain it? Because this will be the summary of these Euros. The inefficiency in front of the goal, whether it's Kylian or Theo's, from what you could see throughout the competition, is it a mental issue, or is it technically speaking, are your players too relaxed? How do you explain this? Well, regarding Kylian wearing a face mask, was not an easy task in terms of restricting his vision, and that was quite an inconvenience. The medical staff stated that there was a sufficient consolidation, and Kylian felt more at ease playing without a face mask. It's a little bit of everything. This offensive inefficiency stems from shots that are not on target, and it also depends on my players, and it can cause a blockage. You need to be as relaxed as possible when you perform this gesture, and you need to shoot on target. And this is what we were missing since the beginning of these Euros. Nevertheless, we made it to the semi-finals, and today we did find a way to score this goal thanks to Kolo. But of course, it would have been better to have an efficiency like we've had up until now, but you have more space, and you can have more situations where you may need to manage things. And given that we weren't facing the situations, fortunately, my team defended very solidly had occasions for shoots, and sometimes it's also the goalkeepers because the shots were not on target.
Lamine Yamal, and do you think you should have defended better at that goal?
His shot is magnificent. He succeeded a lot, and he deserves all his credit. With the situation, he's left-footed, and we're, of course, a bit too far, and they also have this quality, this Spanish player, to have very good players who can shoot outside of the surface. And he tried to harm him. We tried to harm him as much as possible, but we were too far. So he had more freedom, and his technical gesture was perfect. Olivier Giroud came in a few minutes before the end of the match. It wasn't enough. He probably played his last few minutes with Les Bleus. Best goal scorers. He's been with you since the beginning. What do you have to say to him, and what do you have to say to him now that he may retire internationally? I will say it right away. He's disappointed like all the other players. Olivier was here since the beginning, and he is the last one since that first match that we have had in Le Havre. He had some difficult periods and some periods where he wasn't as efficient, and this prevented us from being world champions. And over time, we finished being best goal scorer at the stage, and he's an example of longevity, seriousness, professionalism. He had less playing time during this Euros compared with what the discussions we had initially, but he's part of the leaders of this group, even though he's not always on the pitch. It would have been better if we had finished on Sunday, but what I want to say to him is well done, and thank you for everything you have done. A last question? You had a lot of rotations for the strikers in the acts. Is there somebody missing, like somebody like along the likes of Olivier in your team? Well, given what Kolo did and the goal that he scored, well, that's great. And Olivier is Olivier, and so much the better for him. That's what I say to him. there's the environment with the public, with the media. You looked after him very well because he wasn't always efficient. You were saying that he wouldn't always score goals, even though I kept defending him. But Olivier is Olivier. He has this capacity to be very efficient. He has less quality in terms of runs, but there's young players as well, such as Marcus, who just finished a very beautiful season, and he's in the French team, so it's one step ahead. And Olivier is part of the ones who have been here for the longest, but there's also a lot of youngsters like Bradley Barcola with what he has done. It's great, even though Warren didn't play, but the fact that he's here, it will serve him as an experience. There are other young, relatively young players for whom it is the first competition, and this will help them for the future. Thank you. Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and congratulations, Coach De La Fuente. Felicidades, and we're happy to start with first question over there.
Hola, hola, mister.
Perdón.
Congratulations for qualifying for the final. I know that you're a man of belief, but of faith. But I don't know if how you feel in your first Euro and beating Germany at home, and then the French national team with Mbappe. I don't know if you had so much faith in this team as to achieve this. Well, good night, good evening, and thank you for the congratulations. Well, I surely have faith per se, but I have plenty of faith in this team because my players are exemplary. Individually, they are fantastic, but they make the collective benefits of their individual qualities. So I have to keep their faith in this group of players because they always work for the common good, for the collective effort. They are very generous in their efforts and the work rate. This is just one more sign that this is an insatiable team, that they want to keep improving with spirits of sacrifice, and I have faith in them, and I'm proud to be able to direct these players. Congratulations. I wanted to ask you if you know what Morata has, what kind of injury, if he's injured or not, and if the whole of the country is seeing what you have been seeing for many months or even many years. Well, as for Alvaro, we're going to wait until tomorrow. We don't think it's anything, but I think it was during the celebration, of course, and it was something, his leg hurts, but we think he's going to be okay. And as for what you just said about what the whole of the country is seeing it, I think it's something that we can all reflect upon. You know, I accept criticism. I always did accept them. I think I'm a bit of an expert in assimilating criticism, but I want you to know that this may surprise you more than it surprises us, because we knew the possibilities that we had, these raw materials that we had. I know these footballers, and I make my decisions based on how much I know these footballers. It's not out of a whim. You know, you've been asking for this player or this other player when you don't know the history behind each and every one of them. We do know, me and the technical staff, and I know my players can give much more, and they can improve and be even better, and I'm pretty sure that we will. you want to be you want to defend your team, right? At the whole time. Football. Do you think that football in the end gives a prize to the most attractive proposal, the most attractive football? Not always, but you need to believe in it. You need to give. You need to make your team play in the way that their team can play, so I know this is a very versatile kind of team with very many different registers, but this is because of the footballers we have. Of course, knowing them, knowing the footballers as we know them so well, that gives us the chance to play them in different ways, have different registers with different footballers who would bring in different things on the pitch. And that's exactly what we try to do. But our idea of football is based on our self-assurance, and this is what we want to play. We want to play to our strengths. I think I know that we are able to play great football. We've seen it throughout the tournament.
Okay. Congrats. I'd like to ask about the boos and whistles that Marc Cucurella was treated to. What do you think about that? What does he think about that? And will that change your reflections on Germany as a host country in any way? Thank you.
No, la verdad es que no sé por qué lo han pitado.
No, I don't know why they booed him, to be honest. I have no idea. But the only thing that they did was to motivate him. He's a great professional, a really mature player, and he knew how to overcome the pressure. And in any case, I'm against any lack of or any disrespect. I know the people who booed him do not represent anyone, Germany or anything. Germany as a host country has been extraordinary. So the people who booed him don't represent sports, football, or Germany as a country. First of all, congratulations. I wanted to ask you that you want your players to finish the plays and shoot on goal. When you saw Lamine's goal, what went through your head when you saw it? Well, we saw a touch of genius from a footballer. We all know who he is. We need to take care of him, and from here I want to give him some advice. The same way that I do it in private. I would like him to work with the same humility, keep his feet on the ground in order to keep improving, learning with the same kind of attitude and that professionality, that maturity that he shows on the pitch. He looks like a much more experienced player, to be honest, but fundamentally, I celebrate that he's in our team, that he's Spanish, and that we count on him, and I hope we can enjoy him for years to come.
Beginning of the Euros, but now he has really developed into a key player, scored again for you tonight. So how do you see his development, and what has his strengths? What can he bring to your team?
Well, Dani Olmo, it's a bit like I was saying before. He doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I know him really well, and I know his potential. He only needed time to adapt, to overcome a process, an injury that he had a while back, more than a month ago. But he needed time in order to integrate and he needed to recover the pace and the rhythm that he needed. I can only be grateful for Dani Olmo for how much he brings to us on the pitch. I am fortunate enough to being able to direct 26 geniuses in football. For me, as a coach, and being the one to decide which player I bring, of course, I feel fortunate that they are Spanish. And we are fortunate enough to have a very young national team with a lot of present and with a lot of future. And Danny, of course, is one of our standards these days. What are you most proud of tonight, and what is your credit for this? You always talk about the players and how good they are, but you must have some sort of credit. You must demand some sort of credit for yourself. Well, I've been saying this from the beginning. It's the footballers' credits. They are the ones on the pitch. We need to select them, of course, bring them here. But it's their merit, it's their credit. It's always the footballers. And I prefer it to be like that because they are the ones who make it feel so excited about this, knowing that we're going to live through a unique, maybe not unique, but a very important situation, which is playing a final. So ahead of this game, I must say that I feel so proud of these footballers because of the way we have gotten here, because we have to play some very complicated matches, and I want to I want us to get used to the idea of there is no pain, no gain without pain. So suffering in football and in life, it's part of life. If young people are listening to that, they need to know that it's normal. It happens every time. These players are young, but they are ready to suffer, to work, to commit. I'm really proud of the journey to this semi-final. I don't want to claim any sort of credit or anything. I am proud. I am happy to be here, but that's about it. Was it more difficult to play Germany or France? Or do you think you are a favorite for the final on Sunday? Well, it's been two totally different opponents with totally different characteristics. And that gives a lot of credit to both victories because we had to play them differently. I think, of course, they were two huge national teams who forced us to play our best. So we are really grateful about that, how demanding these matches were. And we will see how far we can get. But I'm sure the next game is going to be totally different against any of the two. England or the Netherlands are two great teams who will be, who will demand the best from us and to keep learning and improving from what we've been doing now. Even though it might sound difficult, we are able to, and there is room for improvement.
Gedacht, gab es doch irgendwas, was Sie Ihrer Mannschaft mitgeben konnten, bevor sie das Spiel dann gedreht hat?
After you conceded a goal, could you say anything to your team before they turned around the match? Did you say anything?
Talking to these guys while on the pitch, it's virtually impossible. The atmosphere, the noise, it's very complicated to talk to them. But before the game, we contemplate every different scenario. So we contemplated that. We had already seen what to do or thought what to do if we scored or if we conceded a goal. We had to play exactly the same way, exactly with the same attitude, and that helped us turn the game around and keep playing with the same kind of mentality. But obviously our self-assurance, our self-belief and our confidence in ourselves that we could overcome any adversity. That was the most important thing for this group of players. Congratulations for the final, for making it to the final. Again, we're talking about 70% of viewers were watching the game from home. Thousands of people in the streets in every region of Spain cheering on this national team. what do you have to say to these people, to these Spanish fans? And what does it mean for you that in every village and every town in Spain, everybody's supporting the national team? Thank you, and thank you. That's exactly what we need. And I'm really proud that in Spain, our whole country is out there celebrating and cheering the successes of their national team. I'm really proud. And I'm happy because we are generating this hope. We're creating this hope and making people dream. You know, because these players are an example for every youngster in our country. And of course, apart from the footballing side of things, it's the attitude, the commitment of these players. It's something that it's very difficult to have. So once again, I'm really, really proud that the whole of our country is out there in the street, united, celebrating our national team's success. Talking about present and future for this national team, I wanted to talk about the past and the present, which is Jesus Navas. The game he played today, he held on for 58 minutes. What do you have to say about him? A legendary Jesus Navas. Well, Jesus Navas is, like they say in Sevilla, you could eat him alive. He's just an example for football, for his teammates, for the fans. He does everything right. His attitude, his generosity, his talent, his quality are all impressive. He's an example, like I said. All his teammates look up to him. He's the most veteran team in our team, and he will leave football whenever he wants, because football will never leave him. He knows the doors are open here. He can bring everything. He will always bring something on the pitch, on the bench, in the dressing room, everywhere. And that's really important for a group that is much more than a team, and it is a family. This is something I'm saying from the bottom of my heart.
Play defensive football, and also lots of criticism about the way England plays in a secure and defensive way. Would it be in some way a victory for beautiful football in general if Spain won the European Championship now?
What we try to do is to have a clear idea and a clear model. We have footballers to play in a very concrete, in a certain way, and make the most out of our footballers. The consequence of having this type of footballer, that could be my credit, selecting them. So when you select players like this, you select players in order to play in a certain way. If I had a different idea, I would probably bring some other players, but with the players we have, and some others who couldn't come for different reasons, but who will be here with us in the future. That's what we want to do. We try to play, every national team plays according to their strengths. You know, France is a great national team, the same as England, but we need to value our behavior and our performance, which has been exceptional up until now. But whatever happens on Sunday, we are always going to be faithful to an idea, to a philosophy, no matter what the result is, because we want to achieve our results, but through a very specific journey, which has, with my players, have been able to carry out so well. Congratulations for your victory. I wanted to ask you about Alvaro Morata. Today, despite not scoring, he played a terrific game. He went everywhere. He was the first defender. So you have always praised him in public. You've always protected him when things were not going his way. What is your opinion of Alvaro Morata in this particular version of him showing so much generosity with his teammates? Alvaro Morata always does that. He's an example. Like as a captain, it's the best captain we could have. We have different teammates who will act as a captain when he's not on the pitch, but they always want him to be there. He's generous, has an exceptional work rate. He does something that we always need, and he does it fantastically. He's indisputable, and he will be, but he's as important on and as he's off the pitch. They are very good playing football. He will sacrifice for the good of the team, but also inside the intimacy of the dressing room, which is something you obviously don't know, but I do. That's where he shows how big he is as a human being. He's an exceptional human being, and in my opinion, a great footballer. And of course, I would like the people to recognize what he's done for Spanish football, and to recognize him as one of the greats in Spanish football. I think he's still a long way to go for him, and let's hope it's not his final tournament with the national team.
You won Nations League, and you were thinking that time that you are cooking something which is going in a year after be here and be the first finalist of the German Euro. Thank you.
Well, I've been thinking about this from the next day that I was appointed national coach, because I know my footballers really well. I know really well what I could do with them, and I knew that we only needed time in order to put into practice what we've been showing so far. So I'm not surprised. I insist. I know them really well. I know their potential. And fortunately, we have different chances of playing with different footballers who have been coming and who will come into the team when we deem fit and when they're healthy. But this has been cooking, like you said, from the 1 minute after I was appointed national team. It's a process. It's a long process, but we had in mind what kind of decisions we were going to make. Muchas gracias.
Por el móvil, a ver si va a sonar.
So welcome, Yamal. Congratulations, felicidades. And we start with the first question over here, please.
Istanbul, so congratulations for the final and being the man of the match. As it's the importance of the goal, you think it's the goal of the tournament, and you are the youngest player who ever scored in Euros, so how do you describe the goal?
Bueno, lo primero, muy feliz por la victoria y por el paso a la final. No sé si es el...
I'm really happy for the victory and for getting to the final. I don't know if it's the best goal of the tournament, but it's the most special for me, because getting to a final with the national team in the Euro, it's something super special for me. How do you manage at 16, being so young? I don't know if you are aware that you are the big name, the big icon of this Euro, one of the most important players in the Euro and the icon of this national team. I don't know if how you can manage that, being so young and all. Well, I try not to look at that too much. I don't know if I'm the icon or not. And that doesn't really help anything on the pitch. I need to help my team. That's what I try to do, and that's what I try to do today. this voice I have, it's because of your goal. If mathematics are not, if I'm not mistaken, the last time Spain reached the final of the Euros, you were 4. How do you feel? I don't even think you saw that on TV. Would you ever think that you would be the protagonist of the next final? Well, I never thought about that, really. I was really happy after the final whistle, and well, it's a dream come true, reaching a final with the senior national team. Did you send a message to anyone after you scored? Well, at the end, you don't need to think twice about these things. I just wanted to help my teammates to equalize and try to get a second goal, so that's that.
You looked into the TV cameras and you said, speak now, speak now. What was the meaning behind that?
Well, the person I'm talking about, this person will know who this person is, and I'm just really happy about reaching the final and really happy about my team. You were really looking forward to score a goal, scoring such an important goal and such a beautiful goal. Had you ever imagined such an extraordinary situation? Well, I always said to my mum, even my mum said it was her dream too. So I'm really happy that was my goal against France, my first goal against France on a semi-final. And I'm really, really happy about that. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow it's England v the Netherlands. Any preferences? Would you like to repeat the final in South Africa? Well, I don't really mind. It's going to be a very difficult game. When you reach the semi-final, you have to play against the best. They're very equal games. So we will wait for our rival, and we will play the final, whoever it is.